Alright, now that you know all of your angle vocabulary and whatnot, what are we going to do with it? Well, we're going to solve problems. Surprise, surprise. Alright, so basically you're going to be given a certain amount of information. You're going to have to use what you know about vocabulary to set up equations and solve for variables and solve for angle measurements, etc., etc. For example, you might have two angles. Let's say we had angle 1 and angle 2, and the instructions might say angle 1 and angle 2 are supplementary. So to solve, you can write measurement of angle 1 plus measurement of angle 2 is equal to, remember, supplementary angles add up to 180. So we can say, alright, those are going to add up to 180 degrees. We might also have a linear pair. Let's say we had a linear pair here. Angle 1 and angle 2 were a linear pair. We know that a linear pair forms a straight line, and that's going to add up to 180. So we can say measurement of angle 1 plus measurement of angle 2 would equal 180 degrees. We might be given angles that are congruent. Say we had angle 1 over here, angle 2 over here, and they said angle 1 and angle 2 are congruent. We can write the measurement of angle 1 is equal to, remember, congruent means they have the same measure. Measurement of angle 1 is equal to measurement of angle 2. They might give you a picture, and you might have to recognize how angles relate to each other. Here, angle 1 and angle 2 are across from each other. We know they're vertical, so we know they're congruent. So we can write measurement of angle 1 is equal to measurement of angle 2. They might also give you a big angle with little angles that are making it up. Remember when you did linear measure, the small parts of a line add to the big whole? Well, you could do the same thing here. We could say measurement of angle 1 plus measurement of angle 2, and that's going to equal this whole big angle here. Let's give ourselves some points. Let's say this is A, B, and C. We know that measurement of angle 1 plus measurement of angle 2 is going to equal the measurement of the big angle, which we labeled A, B, C. So they can give you all kinds of different information. You just have to apply your vocabulary, apply what you know about the angles, set up equations, and then solve for what they're asking you to. Alright, let's say we had this picture up here, and our instructions were to solve for x. So I'm going to look at my picture. What do I recognize? Well, I see these two angles are right across from each other, so I think vertical angles, and I know vertical angles are congruent, which means they have the same measure. From there I can set up my problem. So I can say 3x plus 2 is going to equal, because they're vertical angles, they're congruent, they're going to equal each other. 3x plus 2 equals 4x. And from there I've got myself an equation which I can solve. I can subtract my 3x from both sides. That'll give me 2 equals x, and I've got my answer. Let's say we had the same instructions to solve for x. Well, I'm going to look at this. These aren't vertical this time, so I know they're not congruent. But what I do see here is these two angles are on a straight line. And remember, when we have angles on a straight line, we know it forms a linear pair. We know they're supplementary. They're going to add up to equal 180. So from here I can take both my angles. I have 2x plus 40, that's one angle, and then I have plus my second angle, which is 8x, and I know that's going to equal, because it's a linear pair, we have a straight line, it's going to equal 180. From there I can go ahead and solve. So let's say I can combine my like terms. 2x plus 8x, that gives me 10x, plus 40 equals 180. I can subtract 40 from both sides. That's going to give me 10x equals 140. I divide by 10, and for my answer I'm going to get x equals 14. Alright, let's say we had this picture here and this set of instructions. Let's go ahead and start by reading. In this figure, QP and QR are opposite rays. Okay, let's look down here. We have QP, we've got QR. Those are opposite rays, so I know that all of these added up is going to equal 180 degrees. Alright, they also tell us that QT bisects angle RQS. So we have QT, ray QT is bisecting angle RQS. Okay, now remember what that bisecting is saying is that it's cutting that angle into two equal angles. So to help myself out, I'm going to go ahead and label. I'm going to draw myself an arc here, and I'm going to draw myself a congruent arc, because remember they're equal right here. So this is basically telling me that SQT is congruent to angle TQR, and that's going to be useful for us as we go on and try to answer the questions that we have. Alright, let's take a look at number 7 apparently. If measurement of angle RQT equals 6x plus 5, so I'm going to go ahead and label now. Whenever you have a picture, it's always going to help you to label first. So I have measurement of RQT equals, I know that this measurement here, oh, that's not a fantastic color. Let's try this. If, a little better, if this angle here is 6x plus 5, they're also saying, and measurement of SQT is 7x minus 2. This is SQT. That is this guy right here. And that is 7x minus 2. They want us to find measurement of angle RQT. So they're telling us to find this RQT here. Okay, well, I've labeled all my information. Now let's see if I can set something up that's going to help me. Alright, I know that I have these two congruent lines, and I also know what each of these angles is. So since congruent means that they have the same measure, we can go ahead and take both of our angle measures and set them equal to each other. So we're going to have 7x minus 2 is going to equal to 6x plus 5. We could bring our x over here. We're going to get x minus 2 equals 5. And if we add 2 over here, we'll get x equals 7. Okay, now we know that x equals 7. So we've solved for a variable. Are we done yet? Let's take a look. What are they asking us to find? Oh, they didn't say find x. They said find measurement of RQT. Here's RQT. We know that's 6x plus 5. So if we take our x, which is 7, and we plug that 7 in to our angle, we'll get 6 times 7 plus 5. And if we add that, we'll get 6 times 7 is 42, plus 5 is 47. So we know that this angle RQT is 47 degrees. If they asked what SQT is, we wouldn't even need to plug it in because we know these are congruent. So we know SQT would also be 47. Okay, let's take a look at number 8. They want us to find measurement of angle TQS, so eventually we're going to want this measure, TQS. Let's see what information they tell us. If measurement of RQS equals 22a minus 11, oh, I got some info there. What am I going to do? I'm going to label. Right, okay. So measurement of RQS, I know that's this whole big angle here, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give myself this big mark here, so I know I'm talking about this whole angle, and I know RQS is going to be 22a minus 11. That's 22a minus 11. They also tell me that measurement of RQT equals 12a minus 8. Here's RQT right here, so I'm going to give myself a little arrow coming in here. This is 12a minus 8. Okay, what other things might I do here? So we used all of the given information, but can I possibly label anything else looking at my picture? Well, I know I've got these congruent lines here, so can I say that SQT is going to be the same measure as TQR? You bet. So I know TQR is 12A minus 8. So I also know that SQT is going to be 12A minus 8. Alright, so looking at my picture now, think back to a linear measure. Remember, the small parts add to the big part. Well, I've got two small parts here and one big part, so I can set these up adding to each other, and I know it's going to equal the whole big piece. So if I go from there, I'm going to get 12A minus 8 plus, I have another 12A minus 8, and let me give myself some room over here. Alright, so I've got 12A minus 8 plus another 12A minus 8, and I know that's going to equal the whole big piece, which is 22A minus 11. So I've got this small piece 12A minus 8 plus this other small piece 12A minus 8 equals the big piece 22A minus 11. Remember, we knew these were the same because of the congruent signs. From here we can solve, we can put our A's together, we'll get 24A. We can put our 8's together, minus 16 equals 22A minus 11. Let's bring our 22A over. That'll give us 2A minus 16 equals negative 11. We can add 16, we'll get 2A equals 5. And then if we divide by 2, we're going to get A equals 5 halves. One more time, what are they actually asking us to solve? They want us to solve for TQS. And we know that TQS, we labeled what that is. This TQS is equal to 12A minus 8. So if we plug in our A, we'll be able to solve for our answer. So I know that TQS is 12. Well, let me change to white here. I know that TQ minus 8 is 12A minus 8, and that's just from looking at my picture. We knew we had congruent lines, so we labeled it 12A minus 8. I can plug in my A. This A is going to go in for this A, so I'll get 12, 5 halves minus 8. That's going to give me 60 over 2 minus 8. And if I keep solving from there, that's going to give me 30 minus 8, which is going to give me 22. So we found our angle. Okay, let's try another one. Let's say we have this picture up here, and notice we have two intersecting lines. We know when we have intersecting lines, we have linear pairs on those lines, and we also have vertical angles crossing each other. So we have our 10A here, A plus 90. We know these are vertical angles, so we know they're congruent, and we can set them equal to each other. So that'll give us 10A is equal to A plus 90, and it won't be so difficult to solve for there. I'm going to throw that over there. I can minus A. That'll give me 9A equals 90. Divide by 9, and we'll get A equals 10. Alright, let's do one more. Noticing this picture up here, we've got RS, and we've got another segment down here, TU. We've got angle 1, and we've also got angle 2. Let's look at our given information. They're telling us the measurement of angle 1 is x plus 20, so we know this angle here is x plus 20. Looking down here, we know measurement angle 2 is 35, so we know angle 2 is 35, and they're asking us to find x so that RS is perpendicular. Remember, that sign means perpendicular, so that RS is perpendicular to TU. So they want RS to be perpendicular to TU. Now think back, what does perpendicular mean? perpendicular means we can draw this box, and it means that angle is 90 degrees. So looking at my picture here, I see two small parts. I see the big part, so I can always add my small parts to equal my big part. So I'm going to do my work in this upper right here. Let's take our angle 1, that's x plus 20. Let's add angle 2, which is 35. And we know that is going to equal 90, because we're talking about perpendicular angles. So if we put those together, we'll get x plus 55 equals 90. Subtract 55 from both sides. And that's going to give us 35. So we know x is going to have to equal 35 degrees, and that will make RS perpendicular to TU.